which is the 2022-23 to 2024-25 medium-term budget and related documents for the City of Johannesburg, read together with item 3A, which is 2022-23 to 2024-25 medium-term operating budget for the City of Johannesburg. Also read together with item 3B, which is 2022-23 to 2024 medium-term capital budget for the City of Johannesburg. Also read together with item 3C, which is outcomes of the public consultation on the proposed 2022-23 budget and its revenue-raising measures, and the technical evaluation led by the National Treasury. Also read together with item 3D, which is the draft rates policy and the rates bylaw. And lastly, read with item 3E, which is funding plan for the medium-term capital budget.
Councillor S. Majola.
Speaker.
Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker. We're cancelling our speaker for this item.
Thank you. Councillor Gutierrez.
Speaker.
Councillor Chitole.
Speaker, there's a problem with Stall.
Speaker,
Speaker.
Councillor, I have not given you the opportunity. I have not given you the... Councillor Chitole? Councillor Chitole? Ungahlala phansi baba. Uyaganga. Uyaganga, uyambona nje. Eish. Madoda. Ungakhuluma Councillor Chitole.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, ACDP and the COPE is requesting a caucus break for 30 minutes. Thank you.
Granted, Councillor.
Speaker, don't grant.
Granted, Councillor Chitole.
Speaker.
Councillor.
Are we granted, Speaker?
No, Stole, sit down. Stole, sit down, please.
It's granted, Councillor Chitole. If you can make it shorter, 15 minutes.
Stole, hamba nesikhwama sakho. Stole, thatha isikhwama sakho. Ungadlali ngepower Stole. Thatha umuntu wakho.
Water.
Sithole hamba necope.
Councillors, 10 minutes. Thank you.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Usually, remember what kind like on an average. Next month, yeah, like before.
is something that needed to be sorted, because as ACDP, we are credible people which don't like to act. When things are not okay, we don't like to pretend. If you say you love me, don't pretend you said you love me. You must love me indeed. So these were the issues that we wanted to iron out as we were there, and then we are happy. Thank you, Speaker. All is in order. We can proceed. Thank you.
Amen. Councillor D. Shay.
Good afternoon, Speaker, Executive Mayor, Whip of Council, and fellow colleagues. If you've ever stopped to appreciate a sunrise, whether it be with a loved one or on your way to work, or simply because your 4-year-old decided you didn't need to sleep anymore, you soon realize that you may witness the first rays of sunlight that begin to illuminate the world, but you don't feel the warmth of the sun until about an hour later. In November 2021, we witnessed the most beautiful sunrise over the city. But while that sun has slowly risen in the sky and begun to bathe the residents of Johannesburg in its brilliant light, we haven't felt the warmth yet, until today. Today we give meaning to the new dawn of Johannesburg, a new dawn that is more than just talk, a new dawn of solutions, a new dawn of service delivery, a new dawn of change for the betterment of Johannesburg. Today, the residents of Johannesburg begin to feel the warmth of this administration. This budget paints a picture of the resident of Alexandra Township waking up in the morning, having a hot shower because their electricity and water supply is reliable due to the city budgeted allocations of 20.5 billion and 13.9 billion to City Power and Joburg Water respectively. After breakfast, our resident catches the Rea Vaya bus to work thanks to the city's investment of 2.4 billion in transport. Our resident is one of the growing number of the employed in our great city because of the investment in 14,500 SMMEs that this administration has made. And those SMEs have a reliable supply of services, and their assets and investments are safe due to the investment of 6 billion rand in public safety. After work, our residents can take their kids to the park and know that they'll be safe because of one of the 150 park rangers employed by the city. At the end of the day, our residents sleep soundly, knowing that should a fire occur, the city has the necessary fire trucks to service that will to respond. Residents elsewhere in the city can look forward to smooth driving on one of the 122 kilometers of roads resurfaced by the city, or take an evening job without tripping due to the additional 1,000 public lights in the city. We all see this vision. And then by the service delivery orientated multi-party coalition's own admission, it's going to take time to get there. But as the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And this budget is clearly a massive step in that right direction. It's plain to see for anyone going through this budget that this administration has its ear to the ground. This budget is about no-nonsense service delivery. It's got no vanity projects, no 22 million rand flagpoles. It builds no monuments to celebrate mediocre governance. It is a budget about repairing what is broken. It's a budget that begins to eradicate the abnormal hardships we all too often find in this city. And it is a budget of renewal. This budget is truly about putting the residents of Johannesburg, irrespective of background, first, and not just for today, but for many years to come. Recently, I've spent some time engaging with the residents of Ward 53 in Soweto, which is not only geographically opposite to Ward 72, the northeastern ward which I've been elected to represent, but so different on a socio-economic level. When you look at these two wards worlds apart from each other, you'd think it's almost impossible to marry the needs of the two within a single budget, but yet it has been done. The residents of Lefereng in Ward 53 will be getting the park they so badly desire, and the residents of Ward 72 will be getting a new standby feeder board at Greswold substation to increase the reliability of the electricity supply. These are but two examples of the unbelievable balance that has been struck within this budget. In the DA, we pride ourselves on our well-researched policies based on international best practice. We then draw upon those policies to formulate our offer to the electorate. What we pride ourselves even more on, though, is following through on our promises and implementing our service delivery agenda. This budget is undoubtedly the first step into fulfilling our DA 2021 local government election manifesto. The road is long, but at the end of it, we get things done. We not only support this budget, but we wholeheartedly endorse it and are proud of our efforts of our MMC, Sotheby, and her team in preparing this budget. We welcome the investment in better customer service when dealing with the city's finance department, but also the increased efficiency of the city's clinics through the e-health program. We must note the increases in rates and tariffs from the city, and whilst it's never easy to pass on increases to the residents of the city, we must applaud the efforts made to keep these increases to an absolute minimum. Today, we begin to feel the warmth of this new administration. Next year, we will be even warmer. And before we know it, the citizens of Johannesburg will be basking in the golden midday sun provided by this government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Sindani.
Speaker, it's Councillor Khade. I remember we amended the speakers list. Can I continue, Speaker?
Yes, please continue.
Thank you. Greeting Speaker, Vasco da Gama, Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Councillor Eunice Mgcina, the ANC caucus, and the residents of Johannesburg. I rise on item 3A, B, C, D, and E. As the African National Congress, we reject the proposed operating revenue budget that is approximately 70 billion and the operating expenditure budget that is around 69.7 billion for the financial year 2020-2023, which also then gives us a surplus of about 300 million. Now, one of the reasons we are rejecting this is because it is worrying us that this budget will be mainly funded through further squeezing the pockets of our already struggling residents as you increase service charges like water, electricity, and sanitation. But in the contrast, you decrease the interest on the external investments. We also are worried that the residents of the city are being bullied into payment arrangements that they cannot afford in order to fund this operating budget. This operating revenue budget does not show us any projections on the gains. Gains are projected at 0.0%, as indicated in page 3A.4. Do you know why? That's because the multi-party government only cares about milking the residents and does not have innovative ways of generating revenue so that we can find more money for our city. So much for a so-called caring government. There's also no clear plan on how we'll manage and slow down the accelerating operating budget expenditure. One of our biggest worries is the cost of finance charges, which is standing at the projected 2.6 billion. The reason why we are mentioning this is because the multi-party government is proving to us that they are a debt-thirsty government that wants to drive the city into a fiscal cliff by borrowing its way to capital budget. The capital budget for 2020-2023 financial year amounts to about 7.7 billion, and about 4.9 billion of this capital budget will be funded through the city and other sources. We do not have any investment projections that will be funding our capital budget. 23.6 billion of this budget will be funded through debt. In the 2020, in our 2040 GDS, it indicates that if you live in the city of Johannesburg, you are classified as, if you live in the city of Johannesburg and you only have a matric qualification, you are classified as what we call semi-unemployable. Now, this means our capital budget should speak to these challenges, and it should make sure that we've got means and also strategies to drive the economic growth of the city. We would like to indicate our dissatisfaction in how the capital budget has been cut under the, has been cut in our wards under this leadership of the multi-party government. This indicates that this government does not care about the poor people of our city. The capital budget does not indicate how we're going to solve the electricity crisis that is ongoing in Soweto, Orange Farm, and other parts of the city, where ESCOM is abusing our residents and our councillors are not even sleeping at home anymore because of these issues. On services and property rates, we've indicated where we stand on the previous lines. We also note the proposed funding plan for this capital budget will keep, we also note this proposed funding plan, and we'll keep an eye on the borrowing trends of this government. As proposed that in the financial year 2020-2023, we'll borrow about 1.8 billion, and in the outer years, 2024, 25, 26, and also 26, we'll be borrowing 1.7 billion and 2 billion respectively. We're also worried that there are no clear plans of how we'll be developing better funding models. And we hope that this multi-party government will be able to come up with innovative ways of how we're going to fund our budget. As the ANC caucus will continue to hold this government accountable from the opposition benches, and will make sure that the public purse is handled properly. We will reveal the true nature of this multi-party government as the term progresses. Thank you.
Councillor Mukoka.
Afternoon, Speaker, Executive Mayor, Chairs of Chairs, Chairpersons of Committee, Action SA Caucus Leader, Funzi Ngobeni, and the councillors at large. I rise on item 3D. The municipality does not levy rates other than in terms of its race policy and the annually broadcasted resolution, levying rates which reflects in cents amounts in rent rate for each category of the rateable property. Therefore, we as Action SA supports this report. In the same lungful, we acknowledge that there is a cause why individual resides in certain places. Such causes may be affordability, culture, and privileges, etc. We may all receive the same services. However, our social and economic strata have not yet industrialized to a level where we all as residents may be able to pay the same rates based on our proximity conveniences at the areas we reside at. We welcome the realization of the new category, which is the industrial category, that will now be start to be charged rates as well. We appreciate the business ratio that has been maintained at 1:2.5, as this now provides our business a survival chance. We allude that the current billing system is not perfect. Therefore, we encourage for more sensible ways that all residents will be able to be charged fairly and accordingly in proclaiming and achieving a world-class city. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. MMC Sadabi.
Thank you, Speaker. With 69 billion rand operational budget and 7.7 billion rand capex budget, this budget offers hope to all our residents to start to dream again of a better, more dignified future for all. The borrowings for this year are less than they have been, and the own revenue component is higher than it has been for many years, if not ever. The funding model is under review, as is the revenue model. We will immediately be researching alternate revenue sources. And as indicated earlier, the special zoning area policy is currently under review. And we look forward to oversight and for all councillors and all committees holding us to account on the delivery of this budget. This is a budget that delivers on our mandate to get the basics right, to keep the lights on, to keep the water flowing, to keep our city clean, and to keep our residents safe. This is a budget that honors the ratepayers and uplifts the destitute, that upgrades informal settlements and cuts the grass. I ask Council to approve these items and to allow our beloved city to shine again by cultivating the golden start, by embarking on our next big adventure, the golden repair. I thank you.
Thank you very much, MMC. Councillors, the recommendations are on pages 3B.21. Is the item agreed to? Councillors, my mistake. I'm going to read all the recommendations on the items that you've spoken to. So let me start. Recommendations on 3B.21. Recommendations on 3C.13 to 3C.14. Recommendations on 3D.9 to 3D.10. Recommendations on pages 3E.11 to 3E.13. Is the recommendations agreed to? Councillors, the yeses have it. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Therefore, the item is agreed to. Councillor Mkina. Councillor
Thank you,
Mkina.
Speaker. As the ANC, we demand the roll call. Thank you. Yes, it's our...
Don't be demanding.
Thank you, councillors. Councillors, this time, those that says no, please raise your hands at this time. Those that says no, can we have a count, please? Thank you. One hand, councillor. Nikosiringa enwi. Niyagorba counter na to. Just count one end.
Even in counting, you cheat.
Councillors, can I ask you please not to disturb the officials counting? One end, councillors. One end. We are not playing for pace. One end, thank you.
Esithole. Nathi intanga yakho ngapha. Is WhatsApping some people to come.
Yikaqale ngathi baphumi basathenga isikhathi.
Mandoza bayakufuna.
Bayimfile.
Emandoza bayakufuna.
Thank you, councillors. You can put your hands down.
Mandoza, gunmen.
Asisukume.
Ezungu. Zungu. Kabizo Mandoza bayamfuna ngaphandle. Ugunman. Mandoza, Darocha.
I counted 73, sorry.
Darocha, they want you outside. Bayakufuna Mandoza.
Councillors, thank you. The yeses, please raise your hands at this point. Thank you. Can we have a count on the yeses?
One
Thank
hand,
you.
Speaker.
Babas. Sithole, lower your hand.
Sithole.
Sithole, lower your hand.
Sauls, J. Paiza wena.
Malume ngomeni wisani boko. Beka nisandla phansi.
Sithole, you are a sole trader.
Councillor Ponsonby. It's the Eldo style, né? Peace.
Emrena, uyavota Manuel.
Speaker.
Akavota.
Athi kafana yazi emakhaya kujima. Seniyamuva njengoba vele ngishayisana. Kodwa abanye
Ethi. Thosi mngani. Wasibakengile.
77.
Ke tsere klipara ke tatlhana le wena ne.
Belinda, Sister Belinda.
18. A plus B. 18, ne? C and D 34. E plus F 38. E plus F 38.
Councillors, you can put your hands down. Thank you, councillors. This is the results. Noes 75. The yeses 137. Thank you, councillors.
Legal team advice.
Thank you, councillors.
Recount, no.
Councillors, please take your seats. Can you please take your seats? Can you please take your seats, councillors? Thank you, councillors. Please take your seats.
Recount. We're not doing recount. Come on, Mayor.
No!
Thank you, councillors. Thank you.
You don't have 137. You don't. You don't. Speaker.
Thank you, councillors. Please take your seats. Thank you, councillors. Councillor Mkina. Councillor Mkina. Councillors, please, Councillor Mkina, please talk to your caucus. You are supposed to talk, and he's talking over your head.
We are watching you.
Councillor Mkina.
What have you done?
Councillor Mkina, there's a red mic behind you that's on. That's why you can't put your mic on. Next to Councillor Francisco.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. Or should I say presiding officer? I don't think you you are presiding in this house accordingly as a speaker. So that's why I think I just want to refer to you as a presiding officer. I'm standing on roll 87 to call for a roll call procedure. You can read it through. I'm calling for a roll call procedure, Speaker. In simple terms, I'm just suggesting a recount. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Socialism.
Suggestion rejected.
There are no grounds for a recount.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mkina, can we go back to the same rules on roll call procedure? Which is 86.3. And I'd like you to open up your rule book. The Council Secretariat shall tally the number of votes received, advise the presiding officer, who shall promptly announce the results, which I did. Where the difference in votes is 5 hands or less, roll call procedure in accordance with Rule 87 must be carried out. And therefore, the roll call is denied. It's more than 5. Thanks. Thank you very much, councillors. We've been here the whole day. I really appreciate your patience. Therefore, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thulam twana wenu kalelan. Thulam twana wenu kalelan. Kalelane. Ngundu batilanga, ibatilanga, zuba dulanji aka.